Okay, so I'm going to now go to our last presenter, who is Christophe, and he's a marketing manager with a company called IP Payments. So he is not a professional investor, but he is a very active Skaffold member. You may have seen him on our webpage at the moment. He's one of the members who's in the video. He's also written a blog for us. He's done quite a lot and been a big supporter of us. So I'm just going to pass over to Christophe.
Um, Thank you. I guess, yeah, by day I'm a marketing manager. I work in IT, and like Lloyd, I guess I have a bit of a hobby. I like investing and outside of work, and investing in great businesses. So I guess the question for me is leveraging my time. I'm not a professional. I investor. I don't spend my entire day like going through annual reports or doing research if you want, which would be great. But so it's just outside of work and during the weekend. So I was really looking for a software that would help me leverage my time, fast track this research, and make sure that when I do some deep research on stocks or on businesses, um, I select good businesses to start with. So really, Scaffold helps me when it comes to that. So I use the filter. I'm gonna search for business that are A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, um, with a return on equity above 15%, raising intrinsic value, raising forecast for price earning, for EPS growth, and net debt on equity uh, inferior to 30%. So that's going to give me a set list of stocks, and then I'm going to use um, the screens, the filter screens, the evaluation screens to do a more in-depth analysis. So I'm just going to look, for example, Cedar Woods properties. And I'm going to start from, let's say, the very bottom here and make my way up through the different screens in terms of lines, core, cash flow, capital history, and earnings, and so forth. So really, like Andrew, I like the fact that Skaffold is very visual. So in 1 second, I can see that it's all green, and it's a business that is its actual price at the moment is below its intrinsic value, and so that's going to be interesting for me. And it's rising as well. Its intrinsic value is rising over the years. Now, when I look at, for example, the cash flow screen, I want to see that the blue line and the green line, so the cash flow generated from operations and the funding surplus or gap, it is rising. So here you can see that it's a bit of a roller coaster. So I mean that's not that good. But if it goes up, and I can see that, so I'm just going to scroll down. See that those are the last 10 years. So that's something really powerful for me. I don't have to go through 10 years worth of annual reports to calculate that, put that in a spreadsheet, and then calculate or compute these graphs myself. It's there. It's 1 second, and I can see that. And that's really that's making my life easier. And you can, first you filter, and then you go through these evaluation screens, and you can, in a few seconds, know that, yeah, I want to spend more time on this business, or no, I don't want to. And so, for example, here, what I like is that you got this visual, you got the text. So, for example, I can see the cash flow ratio. So that's a really good indicator of liquidity for business and how well business can cover their current liabilities. So, if we have a business that's spending more than it earns, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be good moving forward. And that means that the business will either need to increase its debt, raise capital, which is going to dilute your equity, or deepen its bank account. So, or do a mix of those three things, which is not good. So the best is having a business that generates a lot of cash and can pay for its expenses without having to do either of these things. So again, I can see that in a few seconds. If that's going up, that's flattening, or that's going down. So that's really on the cash flow evaluation screen. For the capital history, here is really, again, visually, I look at this blue line, the return on equity, And is that flattening? Is that going down or is that going up? Now, for Warren Buffett, return on equity is the best the best economic measure of business performance. I'm going to make a shameless plug for Roger and his valuable book. So if you check chapter 6, you'll get more information on that, on return on equity and why it's something that's really good to look at. But here again, for the last 10 years, I can see how the business is performing. Is the return on equity flattening, going down, going up? What's happening for the forecast? Like Lloyd, you want to take that with a grain of salt. But if it's going up, that's good. If it's going down, then maybe not so good. What about the total debt? These red columns here, are they going up and up and up and up and up? Or are they going down because the business is paying down its debt? So again, that's something that for me, it's good to see that visually without having to go through a lot of data. And again, you get text here, so I can see that the average return on equity over the last 10 years and lately. So all of this is really helping me, I guess, choose good businesses. You can filter with Skaffold. You can get a subset of, let's say, 10, 15, and then you can use the screen and looking at the cash flow, looking at the forecast for intrinsic value, looking at the capital history, you can reduce that to, let's say, just a few, 5, 6, maybe, or even less. And then you can start looking at annual reports and many more information and data about the business. But you're really leveraging your time to make sure you only invest in great businesses. And I just want to give a few examples in terms of results. So I invested in EAX as well, like Chris, and that was $1.07, and now it's over $3. I invested in Cedar Woods, that was around the $3 mark. Now it's over $5. I invested in Breville when it had a dip and sold lately, and made a 33% profit. Invested in MTU, that was around the $3 mark, and now is around 5.5. So again, that's just a few examples. I'm not saying invest in these companies, but Skaffold helped me to find out these gold nuggets, these companies that were undervalued with a great potential, and then I reap the rewards, if you want, as you can see. So that's really, I guess, how I'm using Skaffold and why I love it. Thank you.